everybody, and welcome to the show that only I think we listen to or care about. It's Max's monthly music mission, a show where we tell Max things he should listen to based on his music taste that we are ever learning more about. This show has continued to evolve this month. We have not only the things Max needs to talk about that we assigned to him, but also the things that he assigned to us to listen to. And also Grant's going to pitch in this time and assign another thing. Assigning Max
hold on. I got a really good idea for this. I thought about this the other day now that we were talking about this. What if Max ranks all the albums that we listen to as he's doing them?
That would be good. That'd be a good comprehensive way. That actually would really help us stay in line with the things that you do like.
So maybe we could start that today. Maybe you
like all right. We have.
So you don't even have to give reasons.
Shared doc.
You don't even have to give reasons. Just like these are the ones that I like. That's it.
I can do that.
We won't go long on it. Right?
Yeah, we don't have to. We don't have to spend the amount of time we did talking about ranking the Banjo Tooie levels, which is a reference only Max will understand.
I do want to clarify. I just offer extra credit. This is not required listening for the group. This is just to give you more context.
But it is a new part. I mean, I did do the extra credit, so now it's becoming part of the show.
Yep, so, I did it.
All right, so for this month,
do we want to start with the extra credit?
No, let's hold off on that. Let's first start with you, and then we'll do you, and then we'll do the extra credit, and then we'll get to new assignments. How about that?
Where do you want to fit the ranking in this?
We'll do that at the. We'll do that at the. Well, yeah, we'll save that for the variant. So this past month we have had assigned. Michael went Coheed, and I went Tyler the Creator, which is a very.
Mario also chipped in. Mario did the Killers.
Did the Killers, Sam's Town. Yeah, Sam's Town specifically.
And from this point, I'll leave it to you, Max, to decide what you want to talk about first. I feel like you're going to talk about the Killers first, but
I'm going to talk about Tyler the Creator first.
Oh, there we go.
I'm very scared. All right,
Mike, do something stupid.
I assigned you Igor and Flower Boy, correct?
You assigned me Flower Boy and said if I liked it, I could listen to Igor.
Yeah, because I said there's a lot of commonality between.
Did you listen to
So you didn't listen to Igor.
I did not listen to
Igor. Sadness.
Should have made him listen to the old stuff. That's what he
Oh, God. Yeah, I really enjoyed Goblin.
I told you to listen to both, and then I said if you wanted to hear more of his rap stuff, you could listen to
it was
Call Me When You Get Lost, which is his most recent album.
It was Igor if you like Flower Boy, because they complement each other.
Okay.
The funny thing that only Mario noticed last week and commented on is I have actually, I'm familiar with all three of the recommendations. Not the albums, but the bands.
Yes.
And specifically, though, Flower Boy I have listened to before or tried, and I stopped because I didn't like it. But this time I did listen to the whole album. You said about Tyler the Creator, and specifically, I think Flower Boy. It could have applied to Igor as well. Where was it? You said, and actually, Apple's description of the album too said this, that this is the softer side of Tyler the Creator, and I am scared to know what the other side of Tyler the Creator sounds like. This was not soft.
Please go listen to Goblin and Wolf.
Yeah.
This was not a soft man.
Oh my God.
Listen to one song by Tyler after this, and that's the only thing I'll have to ask of you, and that's Yonkers. If you listen to Yonkers, that's all I need in my life.
Oh my gosh. Some of my notes, let's see. Dense, lyrically, very dense. Rapid with repetitive, very repetitive. And I think that contributes to the density of it. So I feel like part of creative potential is lost there because he's just repeating the same thing a lot. The music itself, when he's not talking,
I feel like you're
is very
specifically
catchy.
referring to Garden Shed when you're talking about this, because I know he says Garden Shed, Garden Shed, Garden Shed, Garden Shed. There's like a whole.
I don't remember. I think the music is very catchy in this album. I would have preferred just an instrumental album.
I was going to say, I felt like musically you would like the album. Lyrically, I wasn't sure about. But musically, the thing I hyped up to you is that it all flows into itself very well. I think from one song to the next, it flows quite well. and it has a style of beats and harmonies that I thought you would like, which is why I recommended this.
Musically good, lyrically, or more just him. Like
he's abrasive. I'll give you that.
He sounds angry and bullish and blunt.
But you like Kanye.
Yes, but I think combine that with he reminds me of Gambino, who I do love. Childish Gambino, I do love. But his voice turned way low, like super low, and so I don't know. He just sounds mean, and I don't know. I didn't like it.
Dude, you're saying this about Flower Boy, which is what's baffling. Like.
I also wrote down that his voice sounds like Kanye's in Through the Wire, like, but the whole album.
But that's
like
one of the best Kanye songs.
It's a great song, but Kanye doesn't sound like that all the time. What is he? Oh, here. Oh, this is probably pretty harsh.
As long as it's not like anybody who likes Tyler the Creator is a missing chromosome.
I think these are my two harshest. This is pretty harsh, actually. He seems like someone who paid a Spotify farm to play his music and make it popular. Like he paid other people to play his music to trick the algorithm. And that maybe he would just be better off the mic and should produce and write. Like I don't think he should be on a microphone.
So Max just okay. So all right, I can just accept that you don't like this.
Just murder that man.
Yeah, because some of if you would have given me different like feedback than what you're giving me, I would have said like, oh well, maybe you'll like this song on Igor, maybe you'll like this. But everything you're describing is just me being like, nope, you wouldn't like that album either. Because the best songs on Igor, like I think of like New Magic Wand, which is everything you are saying you hate right now, which is just loud and scream like. Yes.
So everything you're like, I've never listened to Tyler Creator, but your discussion is like doing the opposite for me, where I'm like, I'm gonna give it.
You gotta listen to this.
You should
listen
Mike, you
straight
should
up.
1000% listen to Flower
Boy.
I think you would like it.
I would love this.
But
I think you would.
But
like
please then follow that up with Goblin. I want to hear your take on Goblin.
So there were two songs that I liked. I wrote their names down, but that's it. But I did like I Ain't Got Time. And then I guess it's called 911 Mr. Lonely, but I did like Mr. Lonely is what I wrote down. But the rest of that, I was pretty harsh.
All right, well.
So I didn't listen to Igor.
If you listen, I do think you should listen to New Magic Wand, just because it sounds like literally everything you're saying you hate to a T. But I should also stress that if you watch his concerts, that song is probably the most like hype go hard song at those shows. If you watch clips from it live, like people freak out to that song. Anyway, okay, that's fine. I see, like I can accept that you just don't like that, and that helps inform my taste in the future. It helps inform me in the future if I'm going to recommend rap things to you. I will say it is a little confusing though, because you're like, it's like Childish Gambino, which I like, and it's like Kanye, which I like, but you just don't like the voice.
Like his word. I just don't like the way he raps. I think the words and like the creativity part of it.
He doesn't have a flow in the same sense that I would say some other rappers have. It's an unconventional flow, I would say.
Yeah,
sure.
And this album also strictly isn't rap.
Clever lines. I was like, good job.
This album also isn't strictly rap, which is why I recommended you this one. If you want to hear him spit bars, you need to listen to his older albums. And those are like him spitting bars and being aggressive and like screaming and saying like crude things.
Yeah.
Like
I'm probably
like Apple, correct? This is his softer side. So
yeah, he's definitely not making the same lyrics that he's doing before.
Yeah, I think when Grant and I lived together, I think it would have been 2018 or 2019. I had this album on repeat constantly. Probably listened to it twice a week minimum for about a span of a year. So
came out in 2017.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know how I got into Tyler the Creator. A girl that was seeing was like, I love Tyler the Creator. I was like, okay, I'll buy an album, and then I bought Wolf. That was the greatest.
I remember
day of
I
my
was
life.
there when you bought that, I think, and then we listened
That's
to it in your
incredible.
car on the way home, and I was like, "This hurts my ears."
Incredible.
No, it's amazing. Like Tamale, a great song.
All right.
I might have to change my pick just to.
Save Coheed, do Killers. I
was gonna
want
do
the hype
Coheed
to.
next.
I want the I know what you're gonna say.
We
about
know.
Killers.
It's like literally like making me like,
Yeah.
I don't know. It's like making me uncomfortable.
All right, I'll do the Killers. Mario, you were the winner this week.
Of course, I figured I would be.
But you also chose a band who's I like a lot, so it wasn't really tough. Specifically, though, Sam's Town I had never heard.
You've never heard Sam's Town? Wait,
There's singles, yeah. There's singles that he's heard, but he's not heard the whole thing.
Incorrect. And Mario, what single have I heard?
When we were young.
When we were young. And where did I hear it?
Guitar Hero, rock
Hero.
band.
Guitar Hero 3, baby.
Yeah.
I love that song in Guitar Hero 3. That is a great song.
It's a great
that song
song.
was in Guitar Hero 3?
I believe it is.
Yes.
It was definitely in Rock Band 1.
Yeah, it's
The
they
songs
came
are-
at the same time.
I think it was in both. I think
Yeah.
you're right.
Really?
But
Yeah.
it definitely is Guitar Hero 3. And I love that song in there.
What are the other
It's
songs you
interest-
liked?
So I actually
I
didn't
want to
write
see if
any
he
down.
selects all the singles.
I didn't write. I actually didn't write favorite songs down
Okay.
for Sam's Town. It's interesting to me to hear. I think Mike said this last week. Like Sam's Town is kind of what made the Killers, like, is the beginning of their launch to like becoming super popular or whatever.
Yes.
It's interesting to hear that work in hindsight to Imploding the Mirage, which is my favorite album of theirs, or even what is the new one called? I can see the album art in my
the new one's awesome. That
it's great.
Pressure
It's
Machine.
super good.
Pressure Machine, yeah.
Pressure Machine, yeah.
That album's really, really good.
Yeah, I like it. So it was interesting to hear kind of where it started for them as far as in terms of popularity, I suppose. It's rougher. Like, it's not as polished as I think Imploding the Mirage is.
Mhm.
It's not as tight, but it's still good. It has one album / band. I guess they really only have one album. Is Fun, which I think the album is called Fun too.
Wow,
or
they really
something.
had just one album. Oh, damn. Okay.
Yeah. I think they have a couple of other songs that have been stuff, but they just had the one album.
Wild.
It has a chanty, like, group energy vibe of Fun. That whole album from Fun is just a bunch of people singing by the end of it, which
Yeah.
gets a little annoying. That doesn't happen here in Sam's Town, but there is an energy of a group thing, especially I think of Interlude and Exitlude specifically, kind of bridging the front and the back of that
Yes.
album.
When it's like, we hope you enjoy your stay, even if with this,
Mhm.
even just for a day. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's awesome. Yeah.
No, I liked Uncle Johnny. I'm looking at the list now.
Uncle Johnny is honestly one of my favorite songs on this piece, and how I feel like the Killers in this album specifically, and I think Logan mentioned this in the last time we did this, where he talked about Shadow Play specifically, and how the Killers can balance both being a super popular band, but also have some dark subtextual songs sometimes. And this album specifically, I mean, Bones, for instance, is actually the music video was directed by Tim Burton. So
I just saw the thumbnail for it in the music app. and,
Yes.
it's a skeleton. And
It's a
looks
skeleton,
like
yeah.
Tim-
And it-
looks like a Tim Burton.
yes. So it has a lot of that feeling and emotion that I hear throughout the whole album. But when it is obviously known for When You Were Young, and even I would say Bones to some smaller extent, it is interesting though that with everything else, just I enjoy the tones to it. I enjoy the westerny feel that I get throughout that whole album. It reminds me of Nevada when I listen to it. So yeah, it's good to hear you think
I
of it.
liked it a lot. It actually, what it did though was, I did listen to this a few times in the car, especially with Abby and stuff.
Yeah.
But really, what it did was make me just go listen to Imploding the Mirage.
That's fair.
It's good. It's really good, but I was just like, there's a better Killers album, in my opinion, and I'm going to go listen to that. And I think it was interesting just have that context of what happened, especially before Mr. Brightside, which is, I think, when they blew up.
Yeah, that's like, yeah.
Good. It's good stuff. It reminded me when I was young. So there you go. So Killers, good stuff.
Very nice.
Are you ready, Michael?
Yeah, I'm ready, dude.
You're in for this ass beating.
I know. I feel like I'm not the worst one today. It feels like you.
So as I said earlier, I was familiar with that. Coheed and Cambria is my brother and sister-in-law's favorite band. My sister-in-law has like a tattoo of their lyrics on her forearm. I think he now has a tattoo on his arm. I think one of their logos or their logo or something.
The logo, I would assume.
I don't know. They could have multiple. Who knows? Anyway,
they do have multiple. Yeah, they do.
They kind of don't shut up about them, and so I've kind of always been like, I don't need to hear these people. When they told me that Coheed and Cambria has a cruise, I was like, I don't need this in my life.
This is like me with Hamilton.
They do have a cruise. I wanted to go so bad.
So
Mike, I would get drunk with you on a cruise.
I was not looking forward to this.
Yeah.
Because also my brother and sister-in-law just in general musically like definitely don't align with me. My brother-in-law is definitely into a lot of metal and rock, and like the hardest I've probably ever gone is Disturbed. You know, it's just like this is where we're at.
They're in the news today.
Yeah, they are.
So
They are.
anyway, you had me listen to the Afterman, which is a double album.
Yeah.
I liked it.
Yes.
I wrote this down. I said 10-ish songs in, which okay. So the weird thing is that the double album doesn't tell me which is the beginning and end. So I have the Wikipedia pages up so that I can tell you.
That should have
It's
been
the
one
one
album
that-
in.
It's the one that released
Well, it
first.
was one album and then one song into Dissension. It was good. I wrote that I really enjoy any Key Entity song. I thought those were really good. But the rest of them felt like cutting room floor like it didn't feel like it jived with the album.
I agree, especially with the first 9. Like the Key Entity songs are really good, but then like you go to the Afterman. I like Goodnight Fair Lady a lot. It always reminded me of Thin Lizzy. But the like the Afterman and Mothers of Men are kind of just like there. And then I like Goodnight Fair Lady, but yeah, the Key Entity songs like Domino the Destitute, Hollywood, Vic the Butcher, Evagriate of Faithful is my favorite on that one. So
I wrote that it was a double album, which explains kind of the bloat. But also the second album only has one Key Entity song.
Yeah.
And then I think the rest of that album actually does go really well together. I think all the Key Entity stuff should have been on one album and the rest could have been on the other. I don't know. It just feels a little bit mix-mashed.
yeah.
So I guess the Dissension was the one I liked more out of this double album.
You like the Dissension more, even though it didn't have the Key Entity songs?
I think it
it
flowed
flows way
better.
Yeah. No, I agree with you.
But the Key Entity stuff was good. Like I liked the guitar. I liked the energy of it. It was really sweet. The Dissension kind of reminded me of A Day to Remember a little bit, and that may be blasphemous to Coheed because
I think it's like in the same realm. Like I think they've toured with them.
Okay.
Yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
I kind of realized that I probably was like 1 or 2 bands away from discovering Coheed and Cambria in like middle and high school, but never had the friend to like recommend it to me because I was listening to things like A Day to Remember, Linkin Park. I meant what's that Death Magnetic Metallica album? Like I was close to that kind of stuff. Disturbed, like I said, whoa. I think I was this close to finding Coheed and Cambria in high school, and I guess I just didn't know my brother-in-law at the time, and my sister-in-law wasn't into it then. So I just never found them. Now, apparently, though, while this was the homework you assigned me, they had a new album come out, which apparently is very good, according to Michael, and I think that's probably the one you should have recommended to me.
Oh, you listened to that as well, or no?
No, I'm just
Okay.
saying,
No.
like, I think
I
Michael thinks he should have recommended it.
as a very big Coheed fan, and it is swaying more and more every day that they become my favorite band of all time and going above Rush.
Thrones
I
of
was
Rush?
to phone
Gonna say,
Rush.
did you just hear that? It was Neil Peart rolling in his grave.
Well, Neil Peart probably wouldn't want to even talk to me anyway, so it's fine. That new album is very much, I think, it kind of goes through some of the things that I think, even though it fits like a narrative and stuff like that, it goes through some of the stuff that you are going through. Like, he is a father. He's talking about living life during COVID and some of the stuff. It's music. It's more like a musical, which you're more into. It's very much more in your like realm of stuff that you would like. And so after I listened to it, I'm like, fuck. I'm like, no. I'm like, I should have waited. I didn't know it was gonna be that. And it's also for like a Coheed fan. I think for like people who like really, 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 really like Coheed, I think it is probably in their like, and for me, it's like in their top albums for that band.
That was, I mean, I'm sorry to chime in. I did listen to this album and I like Coheed as you do. I wouldn't put myself on super fan status, but I've seen them in concert and I like them quite a bit. I think that was my problem with it, is I've never been somebody who's like digging into the lore of the music and stuff like that. Like, I've never been somebody who likes the band on that level. I like the songs for them being good hard rock, metal, prog rock songs, but I don't really care about the through line story and stuff like that. And that album is very much, more so than any other album that they've released in quite some time, is very much like, oh, this is them telling this through line story of all these albums and where they're at currently. And so I didn't love it because of that, but I just like them in a different way than you do.
I think like for the Afterman, for example, like the Afterman is about the founding of the key work and all this like weird sci-fi shit, and this dude is like going the key entities, or I don't know. It's like a whole weird thing.
There's a comic. You can read the comic.
No, so this one, the Afterman doesn't have a comic. It has a book, and they have like a coffee table book that you can read and like read a whole story for it.
They'll sell you a lot of literature at their concerts.
I have to
the two new albums. So the last one that came out, The Unheavenly Creatures, and the new one that just came out, Window into the Waking Mind, both have novels for them, and they're not small. I mean, they look small, but it's because they look like coffee table books, and they have like illustrations in them and stuff. But they're each like at least 100 pages long, and they're like this big. They're like a foot wide, whatever. And it's like a whole thing. And then they also do have comic books for the base first four, or I guess now the first three albums. They haven't done No World for Tomorrow yet, but they have them for Second Stage Turbine Blade up until the really big one that has Welcome Home on it. But yeah, I don't know. You wouldn't, from those past albums, you wouldn't know that these are technically stories, because a lot of how Claudio Sanchez writes is he writes stuff based on his own life, and then it gets kind of transcribed into like fitting into a bigger sci-fi story called the Amory Wars. This album, even though he does, and you could see it on, because I've been using Apple Music lately. When this album came out, I got a subscription for Apple Music, and they do the whole thing where it shows like Claudio gives like notes on each of the songs or whatever for this new album, and they do the same thing there, and it's still about like other stuff, but it feels like way more thematically like cohesive and way more put together than any other Coheed album has ever come out. It is very musical, though. It is a very different vibe, but I really like the direction that they're going. They've even talked about it. I think Claudio's even talked about it in interviews. He's like, yeah, we've been thinking about maybe doing a musical or something. Like he's said that like very recently in recent interviews. So I wish I had given you that one for homework, but I'm happy that you did like the Afterman because this did have the song that Amber and I danced to on our wedding. So
There you go.
yeah,
I did have. Would you, if you ever listen to this band more, Max, because you like this album and you did like the other albums, would you ever tell this to your in-laws? Or would they?
Yeah, I would tell him and be like, "Hey, I finally listened to this band you really like. You like enough to tattoo onto your body."
I was gonna say, I
they would
didn't
like
know
that.
if you were like afraid that they'd try to pull
What?
you into the cult that they're a part of, the cult of Coheed.
yeah, it's cult. It is cultish.
Nah, they won't. They won't. They
it's-
can't do that to me.
I understand. Like I was ready for you to say you weren't gonna like them because that's how this band and also how Rush is usually. People don't like them, and I would have
Dude.
understood it.
The worst thing about Rush is when I'm like, you should listen to Rush, and somebody's like, okay, and then they come back and they're like, I don't like the singing. And I'm like,
Yeah.
shut up. I freaking
Yeah,
hate you,
get
man.
outta here. Did you have favorite songs in this? Other than
the key entity,
just the key entities one?
stuff. Yeah, that's specifically what I wrote down.
For sure.
I was in the car actually while I was listening to this one the most, so most of my notes were written afterward.
While
Awesome.
driving.
No, not
All
while
right.
driving. Later, when I got to the bank.
Well, if you want to have extra credit that doesn't count, you should listen to the new album because the new album's so good. I think it's going to be my favorite album of the year, and it's also.
I might ask like my brother and sister
Oh,
what they think.
oh, I like that actually. That you're having this communal thing with your family now.
I
that
still
you could
think
potentially open up.
if Max is just gonna go full Coheed, I mean, not even.
You should just
full,
listen.
Not even
I mean,
full.
you should just listen to all of them. And
Well,
then
no. I
What
was
is-
just gonna say, just listen to Good Apollo Burning Star.
You-
4.
Is
that
that Welcome Home? Is that Welcome
just,
Home?
Again, yes, that is just the album.
Yes.
I'm still very surprised that Michael recommended you an album that's not that album. If I'm being
well, that's
honest.
like I said. I think this was the good album to recommend him.
I don't think you're wrong.
I don't think Good Apollo was the one to do because Good Apollo is way more metal driven.
True.
But I mean, it's got it starts
there's-
off with a
I did.
symphony.
I will
like
say this.
violins and piano, and then goes
Well,
into
Max would
acoustic
recognize.
guitar, and then
Max
like,
would
it's
would
fun.
recognize one of the songs because one of them wasn't it in Guitar Hero.
He's in
There are
Rock Band.
two of
He knows
them.
that
There are
song.
two of them that were in Rock Band. I
Yeah,
think.
so he's
There was
One
he would
of them was
recognize it.
DLC.
one of them was
Suffering-
Got
Suffering
it.
was DLC.
Yeah.
no Suffering wasn't. It was 10 Speed, and it wasn't even by Coheed. It was
Oh,
like,
yeah.
it was like one of the covers that Harmonix did by.
Oh,
this
boo!
10 Speed was in it
Yeah.
as well.
All right, well,
Good Apollo is the one. If you are wanting to figure out if you would really like this band, that is the one that I feel like encompasses their work the most.
Good Apollo is the one that is produced the best from their old ones, other than No World for Tomorrow, I would probably say.
And I feel like it has
it also has like the really good. It does like it kind of.
It's a good mix of In
exemplifies-
Keeping Secrets. It's a good mix of
Yeah.
No World for Tomorrow. Like it is kind of a middle
It's-
ground between their first like 4 or 5 albums. I feel like
It
is
is.
really
It is,
compartmentalized in that
because
album
if
very
I were to
well.
tell you what my favorite one was, it would be In Keeping Secrets. I think In Keeping Secrets is their best album, personally. But in terms of like where they're at now as a band now, like I think
they've
over
started this
20
whole new
years now.
saga. Now
Like,
with the-
well, I mean, even with the Afterman, or even with Year of the Black Rainbow, or Color Before the Sun, like I think the Afterman was the one that kind of really brings all those sounds together from
yeah,
what they are at now and the stuff from
and what they were
before,
before. Yeah.
and like really brings them together. Like there's like Vic the Butcher or Domino the Destitute and Century the Defiant are very old, like kind of older Coheed. Gravity's Union is like very like old sounding Coheed song where you get something like what do you call it? Evagria the Faithful, which is more akin to something that his side project Prizefighter Inferno would make. So, which is like basically B-sides for Coheed. Anyway, I'm done talking about Coheed. I could talk about Coheed for literal hours.
I was gonna say,
we do
now
not
we
need. We do not need to do this. I'm
All right.
happy you liked
chapter
it.
select Coheed.
I was gonna
Right.
say
Yeah.
it's our turn now. So Max, you assign to us.
I
Casey
assigned
Musgraves.
Musgraves
Casey
Hatchet
Musgraves.
material.
Okay.
I also listened to that quite a bit. I was like, oh, yes, I will listen to this.
Did anybody else listen to this other than me and Mike? I know Grant didn't, obviously.
I did not as well. Sadly, I failed extra credit this week.
It's extra credit.
I listened to this once yesterday. I was very surprised to find Willie Nelson singing in my ears on the final track. That was interesting.
I
Other
have
than
no idea
that,
who that is.
yes, you do. Willie
You don't know.
Nelson.
You don't know Willie. Oh my god. Oh my god.
You definitely know who Willie Nelson is. On the road
I have
again.
never seen this
Just
man in
can't
my
wait to
life.
get on
Max,
the road again.
Have you ever seen the movie Dukes of Hazzard
Nope.
with Johnny Knoxville? Oh,
Mamas, don't let your babies grow up to
you ever
be
watch a movie with an old
you
man smoking a
surely-
doobie?
Have you ever heard of the
songs
drug
from it.
marijuana?
Yes.
Willie Nelson is marijuana.
He's 100%. Here we go. Hold on.
Max, he's like one of the most famous country artists of all time.
I'm looking at it right now. I have no
He's-
idea who this person is.
Oh,
He's by far the most like prolific country artists ever.
None of
Next
the
to, like,
names of these
it's like
songs.
It's like Dolly
Max,
Parton.
Max, you 1000% know the song "On the Road Again." There's
On the Road
0%
Again?
chance you don't know that song.
how about Always on My Mind? Always on My Mind? No? Okay.
Always on My Mind's really good.
Yeah.
You don't know On the Road Again. You don't know.
We're finding out. By
On
name,
the
I do
road
not.
again.
Anyways, Casey Musgraves is pretty.
Like a band of gypsies rolling down the highway. Like you absolutely know that song. There's
It's probably been in a Disney movie. I
probably
don't know.
been no
Like,
telling
It was
how
in
many
Cars.
movies- There's no telling how many. Yeah. Anyway, okay. Casey Musgraves. This is just me and Mike.
I've never heard this song.
You
You're
listen to rock?
ridiculous.
You
I'm
never
just letting
paid
you know.
attention. to
Hold on.
popular-
Hold on. I'm going to find
Max,
a movie scene that most likely
I was
has
gonna
it.
say, there's no possible chance you haven't heard that song by like just general exposure to culture over the past 28 years. You've heard it at some point. There's no
I
chance.
definitely
It's
do
just
not
not in
recognize
your.
it.
All right, hold on. Have you seen Shrek?
Yes.
It's in the scene in
It's in
Shrek.
Shrek?
Yes.
When is it in Shrek?
Hold on. There's an actual video that is a super cut of On the Road Again. So let me send that off to you for all these movies.
All right.
I'll give it to you
well,
after the show.
Talking about do your thing.
I don't know. I mean, this album was very much reminds me of early Taylor Swift stuff, like young girl singing with some twang in her voice. Got a young country girl from a small town singing about small town things and small town like living. I don't know. Very straightforward. I do have a song that I like the most on the album. I'll say in a second. But Mike, what about you?
I have notes actually. I took some
Look at
notes.
Mike over here.
Because Max puts in work on this, I figure I might as well put in some work too on this.
I've got some things in my head that I can talk to as well. I didn't write any of it down.
I'll kind of just run through it. The first song, I liked. I don't remember. What
I thought that was a good opening song too.
I thought it was High Time. I thought it was a very good opening song, and I put first song Modern Take on kind of like a classic country sound. Like I think it sounds good. I said second song plays, and I was like, oh, this is more modern country. I just really didn't like it. And the things and then as I was listening to it, I was like, two things I am realizing. One, I don't really vibe with this music, but I don't think it's really bad. And I do like the sound of country electric guitar. And what I mean by that is that they'll use like a tremolo effect and like a echo effect at the same
But
time.
I think it was
really good.
overused on this album. Would be
It's
my
used
main
it's
criticism.
used a lot. It is
Yeah,
used
yeah,
a lot.
they really run it into the ground over the course of this album.
But I do like that
I do
kind
too.
of thing. I'm not talking about like the slide thing because that's like a whole other instrument. Just like the electric guitar itself. I'm like, oh, I like that sound. It sounds really great. And I think it sounds great on this album, like throughout the entire thing. So that was something I realized. The other thing I said was I don't think I really like. I think the reason why, and Logan kind of brings it up, the reason why I didn't really vibe with it, I think, is just like the content of the music, and which that it's not even that like I'm not a girl or whatever like that. It's more that like I'm just not in that place in time anymore, and I'm listening to this for the first time ever.
Yeah.
Would you
I
say that
am
you're not pageant material?
I'm not pageant material. I
It's-
am I'm almost 31 years old. I I have a house. I do live in buttfuck nowhere though, so there's
I was gonna
that.
say this
But,
song
like,
reminded me of where I grew up. I felt like I would listen to
yeah,
this. Like this album came out after I had graduated high school, but it reminded me of something I would have heard during
yeah.
high school for
This is
sure.
all these are all ideas that are coming just from the second song as I was like listening to it. And I guess something I also mentioned too. Again, still from the first and second song.
Holy
Uh, I
smokes!
I wrote. I guess I do like that the lyrics tell a story, and I said
Yeah.
something that I like from artists like Thin Lizzy and Neil Young, which I found out doing some Wikipedia research. She's influenced by Neil Young. Was they do tell like very deliberate stories. Like it's very just out there. Like what they are saying is
Mhm.
what they mean. They have other than one song that I'll mention later, the Biscuits song, which is just full of metaphors. It's not very metaphorical. It's very much just laid out there. Like
Pretty
it's
straightforward.
pretty straightforward. I do like her voice. It was the third. I think it's the third song, "Late to the Party,"
Yep.
which is probably one of my favorite songs on there.
Same. I like that song
Same.
a lot.
Yeah. Late
I
to the
like
party is excellent.
there's a I think
It's a little bit more low key and it's also more personal. And
yeah.
or it's
Mhm.
personable
Relatable.
and
I like
relatable. Yeah. I
I
like
liked
that quote.
specifically how her voice like swayed like into the chorus. I was like, this is very good. I'm like, I like this song actually. This is a good song. And after that I started listening. I'm like, I just like the slower songs from her. I think any fast song, like anything with a faster tempo, I did not like. But everything with a slower tempo I thought was great. Miserable, I liked a
You,
lot.
if you like her
Fine, I
slower
thought was a
stuff,
good one too.
you would like Golden Hour. Most of that album is the slower side.
Yeah, I might listen to it.
That's
I
how
I
I
think I
discovered her was Golden Hour, and then I
yeah.
retroactively went back and listened to Same Trailer, Different Park, and then
I'll
Pageant Material.
I'll tell you what my least favorite song is. The Town or This Town.
Yes,
I
it.
wrote I
I don't
wrote
like that song.
I wrote This Town is but like country revenge porn or something. Like it's just a song about everyone looking out for each other and keeping butt heads out of their southern town. That's what I wrote.
That's the
So
one that starts like in a barber shop or something, and all the
yeah,
women are talking. I
I'm
don't care
like
for that.
I'm like
I
I
don't
don't
care
like
for it.
this song. But any slower song, like I said, I think that third song is probably my favorite. I liked Somebody to Love,
That's my favorite song.
Miserable,
That's my favorite song on the
like
album.
Somebody
Somebody
to
to Love.
Love,
I like that
Miserable,
song.
and Fine, I think are really are and then the third song, which I can't remember the name of right now, but like those
Late to the party.
Late to the Party, I thought those were all really good songs. And I actually enjoyed it quite a bit.
Somebody to Love is really good. That's the song that I identified with the most as a single 28-year-old man listening to this young girl sing a song. Uh Biscuits was like the most popular song on it. Like even when I was first listening to this, I was like, this is probably the most popular song on the album. You
Oh,
can tell it's got more it's just
single vibe.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
got more of a single vibe and you can sing you can listen to it once and immediately know the lyrics and kind of sing along to it.
I just
Uh
wrote that it was silly. I'm like, this is a silly song.
Yeah,
Like,
it's kind of a goofy song, but I could see how people like to sing along to it, and
yeah.
it's cute. It's that style of country. Yeah, a lot of
Yeah.
what you said, Mike, is similar to me. The slower songs that I felt like she was writing from, not that she wasn't writing from a place of something personal in her own life with these tracks, but uh, some of them were more poignant than others. And
Yeah.
obviously, I can't relate to all of them. Like pageant material, obviously, comes from a certain place in her life too, but I can't.
Yeah.
This
It's
is like,
and
I
again,
can't.
I'm not looking at every album trying to relate to something,
Yeah,
but I am looking at every album to see like the mixture of like the musicmanship, the lyrics, like how well like written the lyrics are. And those four songs, it just so happens to be those slower songs, I think are the better written songs, the songs with the more alluring like melodies and stuff like that. I just think it's those were where that out like this album shined. Whereas once it got into more like modern, like really fast, like they do the literal like same strumming pattern every goddamn song that's like a kind of quicker tempo. Like I'm just like I don't really vibe with this at all. Like there's nothing here for me to really care. It's like a it's not aggressive, but it's like just not I don't really like the tone of it, I guess, at the end of the day. Like, I don't really like the tone of the song. But like stuff like those 4 that I was saying, like, I think they were great. I really liked it. I'll listen to that Golden Hour one just from this. If you're telling me that they're more like that, I'll probably listen to
More
it.
slow.
I did like the thing
I've
that I
listened to
like
some of that album. I think it's pretty good.
when I listen to this, and just because these are my touchstones for country music and folk music, because I listen to a lot of folk music. When I listen to the slower ones, I'm like, this sounds like
Golden
Harvest.
Hour is less country for
I'm
sure,
like,
because I've
this
listened to
seems
some of that.
I was like, this seems like kind of akin to the Harvest by Neil Young. Like I was like, that's the kind of vibe I'm getting. That specific album. It's kind of slower. Like Harvest Moon is on there. That's like the big one from there. But
Yeah.
yeah, I don't know. That's how I felt. I thought it was good. I actually was surprised that I kind of liked it for some of it because I don't really like modern country all that much. So
Well,
and
if you
this
listen to, if
also
you,
gave me an idea for something I would like you to listen to later, not for this time.
like I said, if you listen to her other, I've listened to some of Golden Hour, and it's not country to this level, which is why I was
Yeah.
surprised that Max recommended this one, because it really does sound like early era, like Taylor Swift adjacent type music. But her other stuff really, I mean, it's got that same sort of vibe, but it's not like twang, it's sliding guitar constantly on all the tracks and stuff like that.
Well, the sliding guitar isn't even the thing. It's just like there's like a specific like tremolo reverb, like the strumming or whatever. It's not the actual slide. I forgot what the lap steel. It's not the lap steel. But yeah, there's a specific guitar there that I'm like, oh, I like this. It sounds great. I love the sound of this. I would love to copy that with my guitar. Like, I think it sounds great. But yeah.
All right.
Yeah. If you,
Anyway.
a Golden Hour, and around Christmas time, she has a Christmas album and show on Amazon Prime. She does a good job singing Christmas classics as well.
Yeah.
All right, let's wrap this up with all the recommendations, and then we'll go. So this is for the coming month. I guess we're all chipping in now. So Max is gonna have 4 assignments.
No, some people have been given 2 albums, so I guess it'll make sense.
I'm gonna give 2 albums for sure.
Okay.
I'm just doing one.
I'm doing 1.
And
I'm
like,
gonna give you 2 albums, Max. One over the other if you can only prioritize one specifically, and then if you have an extra credit thing, we'll touch on that at the end. Who wants to go first?
I'll go first.
Okay.
I'm going to recommend you something that is in the very DNA of the Model Citizens network of shows.
So
And this
someone who's
is-
dead.
I don't know if I mean they still play. Actually, they played a show not that long ago.
Oh, I know exactly what you're. I know what this reference is.
This is. I am recommending you "Can't Buy a Thrill" by Steely Dan. A 1972 album, very good. What I'm referencing to is these are the guys who wrote the album or wrote the song "Reelin' in the Years," which was a Model Citizen show back in the day. The other touchstone I will give to you is that one of Steely Dan's songs plays in a Soprano episode.
It does.
And the only reason why I know this is because somebody who's a really big Steely Dan fan at my work sent me the GIF one time for work, and it was funny. "Dirty Work" is on that album, and it's
You'll for sure have heard that.
and it's from episode. It's from season 3, episode 1, and he's driving a car, and it's the "I don't wanna do your dirty work no more." That song.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that song's on there. There's like a ton of songs when you listen to them, I would assume, but also you've never heard "On the Road Again" ever, so I don't know what to expect.
Yeah, I was gonna say Max not knowing that song.
I don't know really what to expect anymore. But
"Do It Again" he should have absolutely heard on this album as well.
"Do It Again," "Dirty Work," and "Reelin' in the Years" I think are like the big ones. I think Kings
is so
probably
good.
a bigger one too.
Midnight Cruiser's so good.
Yeah.
Fire in the Hole's so good.
This is like a quintessential 1970s classic rock album.
Classic rock album.
It is just.
But it's not classic rock in the way that you're thinking.
Well, I don't know. It is.
To me, it feels like classic 70s, if anything.
Steely Dan's like its own thing, kind of in a lot. Like I don't know how to really put a
Like, there's no fucking
There-
wizards and dark magic in this one. It's
Well,
just
yeah, it's not
dudes
that.
playing
It's
guitar.
No, that's not what I mean. I just mean like they have such a unique sound that I really can't even put a single name on it with like genre wise.
How
Like
I
it is
would-
classic rock, but at
Yeah.
the same time, it's very
How
different.
I would categorize it, or what I think if you were to look it up on Spotify and look at related artists, I think you would get the Eagles. I think you would get
Probably.
like some Michael McDonald bullshit or
If
whatever.
you get on Steely Dan Radio on Spotify, related artists include Tom Petty, The Police, George Harrison, America, Paul McCartney, Supertramp, Chicago. So
Yeah, Chicago would be one of them. I would say Doobie Brothers is kind of in the same realm. Like I would put them like I feel like the fan base that likes that, like especially from who grew up in that time, probably like that kind of stuff. Chicago, Doobie Brothers, Steely Dan, like it's in that realm. They're just like a really good, like kind of easy listening
yes,
classic rock
Yeah.
vibe. But they got like awesome musicmanship. I think they got just like really good. It's just like good vibes album. That's how
the
I
entire band is two dudes. I forget their names, and then all the other instruments are
Dan.
no, not Steely and Dan. The rest of the music on their albums is studio musicians.
Yeah.
So it's really just I forget their names. I think one of them's like Vogel or something like that, or I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember. Like I said, on a real
One of them's
level,
dead. Walter
I-
Becker and Donald Fagen. Not
There you go.
Vogel. Yeah.
on a real level, I didn't really listen to them until like very recently. Like I knew their songs, but I never really listened to like a full album. So I think this one is kind of the like
Yeah, the other day you're like, "Oh, Asia's really good album." Like,
Yeah,
yeah.
I
where
had
you
never-
been, bro?
yeah, I had like never listened to that album like ever, like full through it. I've just seen the album art because my brother owned it on vinyl, and like I've seen it, and I was like,
That's
oh,
their best out. That's their best
Steely
one,
Dan.
I think.
Like, oh, that's Steely Dan. I know what that is. But then I listened to it like full length. I'm like, dude, the dude who's playing drums on this album is like freaking insane and so good. Like,
Got Michael
those-
McDonald coming in with backing vocals on some of those.
yeah,
songs.
yeah. So it's like,
Very good.
it's a good. That album's really good, but I think, and it's probably my favorite of the two. But I decided on this album because I think it's more of like, here are the hits. This is the
Yes.
quintessential Steely Dan album, I would say. Like, if you're trying to just get into them, I think this is the one that you should listen to.
I agree.
Got it written down.
Fantastic.
Who else wants to go? I'll save mine if I'm giving Max two.
I'll go next. Max, I wrote a list to Mike and I shared it with him. And I'm trying to go outside the box other than something you would like. I did want to try and just like expose you to something else.
Oh my God, dude. Wait, which one are you doing?
I'm doing the bottom one. I'm not going to do the top one.
Oh, come on! They just came out with new music.
I'm going to do the bottom one for now because I don't want to totally just like throw it in right now. Okay.
You just listen to Coheed. He's good.
This
He's
show
on
is going to
this now.
become 4 hours long.
Well, exactly. We don't have time for that album, so I'm going to keep it simple. You saw my book. Everyone is well aware. I'm heavily influenced by a lot of musicians and artists. No more than obviously I am with Robert Smith himself. And I would love for you to do this album, which is
Yes!
The Cure's Disintegration.
This is one of my
Wait.
favorite albums of all time.
It's fucking-
I am not
Say,
even
I didn't
kidding you.
hear it though.
The
Mike was
Cure.
too excited.
The Cure, Disintegration is the album. It has quite a few of their hits on here, including Pictures of You, Love Song, and I believe Plain Song in Fascination Street. There's a great song on here called Lullaby, which is about a Spider-Man. You're going to figure that out later.
That's one of the hits too, I would say.
I would say so. It's just such a bizarre song. This is The Cure is one of my favorite bands of all time. I've seen them live, and they're awesome. And this is more.
If Max looks up pictures of the Cure right now, he's immediately going to be very off put.
Apple has a big picture of all of them, and I'm very concerned. So
I want it to be a visual experience for you, though. Do you have hue lights?
I do in my living room.
Are they colors? Are they like different color ones?
They match what's on the TV.
Oh, they do.
Album.
Perfect. Can you
Max-
set them to music?
Oh.
I
Max,
just,
you have heard
you've heard.
one of the songs off of this.
Yes.
actually, 'cause
Honestly,
it's an Ant-Man.
It's an Ant-Man.
when
Plain-
anyone
plain
says
song
I've
is an
heard
Ant-Man.
this, I don't. We've proven that I have.
That's true.
So
Actually,
Love
the time
song is in 51st Dates.
51st Dates.
never seen 51st Dates.
Oh, that's fair then.
Disintegration, you're right, is like the song that plays in Ant-Man. That is correct. This to me is just one of those albums that you just experience as a whole. You don't have they have even though there are hits on this album, I think it's better as a whole. This is an album I would put on if I'm reading Sandman comic books because it fits just fucking perfectly. And you're gonna like this more than you'll hate it. I promise. This is not the trust me. The other choice was crazy. You can send that to Logan, by the way. But yeah,
Message me. This is a really good, influential album. Max.
yes.
I will say the funniest part is gonna be,
Influential.
oh no. That's good that you didn't do that. 'Cause that's not even in my wheelhouse.
That's my wheelhouse.
He was gonna learn
This-
Spanish
this
today.
This is a super influential album, Max. If you want to know like what is like the godfather of emo scene music, it's like this.
Well, it's not. It's
But
not
it
only
is
that.
not.
It's like
It is
it's
not
like
emo.
It's not emo
hard-
music,
to,
but
it's hard, yeah, it's hard to pin.
I mean,
'cause it's
no,
got a
it
distinct,
is.
Like it is, but it's got like a distinct '80s like Tears for Fears
like-
vibe
it's like-
to it.
yeah,
as
it's like-
well.
it's like shoegazy. It's kind of like
it's melancholy.
getting to
Yeah,
that. It's getting to like it's like kind of electronica, kind of not. Like this is like one of the most. This is a very good album. I mean, I would understand also if somebody didn't like it.
yeah.
To be honest.
I mean, how could you not enjoy an album with people that look like this? Okay, that look just like this, just having a blast.
Yeah.
Just having a
This
good
is
time.
80. Like this is a quintessential 80s alternative.
Max
album.
is gonna be
Yeah.
all up in his feels this next month with all
Yeah.
that stuff we're getting because mine as a counter to this is very like it could not be more the opposite.
Yeah. Wait. What do you? Well, Grant has one.
Grant has one too.
So what do we want to end with? Grant.
Grant, go ahead and do
Go ahead and end
yours.
yours.
Grant.
All right. So this is very dependent. I have 5 choices in my head.
Oh my gosh.
I
Oh,
do not
man.
know what you have heard or watched yet. Name all the musicals you have watched or listened to the soundtrack for.
All of them.
Once, And Hamilton. I think I listened to Wicked in high school, like once.
That you
I
like.
Read the book. I read Wicked, so I think I listened to the musical once. And I guess like I saw Wizard of Oz in high school, like the school performance, and I've seen Shrek Jr. So
Shrek Jr.
All right. This is easy. You're going to do the one that not only I like, but my whole family really likes this one. Listen
Okay.
to the soundtrack or Hairspray.
I've seen that movie.
Oh, then Hades Town is the next one.
Hades
then.
Town.
Oh,
Yes.
this is a Cliff Bleszinski joint. I'm pretty sure Cliff Bleszinski is like an executive producer of that or something. Not even kidding.
Oh, it's
Yes.
one word. Hades Town.
It's not a D's Nuts joke, just to make sure.
Yeah, I thought I almost got there for a second.
It's
so
real.
I repeated you.
Now we're getting into musicals. I'm scared.
Yes.
I'm very
Okay.
scared.
This opens up the door for some good ones I'm going to suggest in the future. Just saying.
Seriously, this
Alright.
segment is going to be. This is now longer than the mainline show.
This is a full length podcast.
We're at 57
The
minutes.
podcast within the podcast has become longer than the actual thing. All right, I'll try to end fast,
So-
especially if we're gonna rank these things after this quickly.
I already have it written out, the rankings.
Oh, do you? Okay, cool.
Oh, great.
All right, Max. My recommendation for you is something I decided a couple weeks back, and I want to assign 2 things to you, and I'll give you 2. I'll give you reasons for each album. I'm not assigning either one. It's hard because okay. The group is Jamiroquai.
Oh yeah, Canned Heat.
Exactly. So listen to Jamiroquai. I don't want to. I don't think I want you to listen to that album though.
Really?
The Canned
I
Heat
like
album.
Canned Heat. I like that album.
You
Or
can
I
listen
like
to
that
that one.
song.
You can
I
listen
like
to
that
that one
song.
if you
I don't
if
have
you
no
like.
idea what
That
the rest
album
of it
is very good. So here's what I'm trapped with. The album you need to listen to for sure, like, duh, is Traveling Without Moving. That is their best album. I think Mike. Well, I don't know how much Mike is listening to them, but I think that is their best album. It's got some different.
Very good.
It's very good. It's different though. There are some. I'll warn you this: the songs that are very good, and then there are some songs on it that are a little odd. But for the most part, it's their best one, and it is the one that I would absolutely above all recommend first. After that, there's like they have like 4 or 5 good albums. So I think the reason I will recommend this one to you, and this is something I have said in the past, is this band is extremely influential to Persona 5, like to the point that you can't listen to this and not immediately think, oh, this is Persona. With that in mind, I will recommend the album to you that I think had the biggest influence on Persona, which would be Emergency on Planet Earth, which is their debut album.
That's the
from
good
1993.
So that is the main recommendation.
No, the main recommendation I would tell you is Traveling Without Moving. Is the one that I would say to listen to first, because it's got all of their big hits on it. Outside of Canned Heat is obviously big because it was in that movie and stuff like that. If you want to listen to that,
it was
album,
in Elite Beat
Isn't it-
Agents. That's why
well,
Canned
whatever,
Heat is so big.
Napoleon Dynamite as well.
Wasn't Virtual Insanity on Traveling Without Moving?
Yeah, that's why I'm recommending that one.
Yeah.
Like that's like their biggest song. Their first song on that album is probably their biggest song, or one of them ever. But then yeah, I think knowing that you like Persona 5 music, I feel like listening to Emergency on Planet Earth would be it's either Emergency on Planet Earth or The Return of the Space Cowboy. It's one or the other. I would say Emergency on Planet Earth though, because that album incorporates more strings in the same way that Persona does.
It'll give you major Persona vibes when you listen to it.
And so I would recommend, like, seriously, I think every album they've released is great. And if you like this style of music, which is basically,
It's Persona 5.
it's jazz funk fusion basically. So which is why I said it's very funny that Mario's like, please listen to The Cure and get emo and emotional. I'm like, yo, time to listen to some funk, baby.
The term for that genre of jazz is acid jazz.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Yes. They're very good.
These
They're
are both double albums. What are
No,
you
they're
doing to
not.
me?
No, they're not.
They have 2 discs.
No, they don't. No, they don't. Don't listen to
It says
second disc.
2 discs.
They're the expanded remastered versions.
They're
not-
expanded.
Yeah, all their albums are expanded. If you look at them on streaming services, which I'm doing right now, they're all expanded. You don't have to do that now. Just Emergency on Planet Earth's 10 songs, and I think Traveling Without Moving is 12 or so. 10 or 12.
Okay.
Max,
it's 13.
by the end of this, you might enjoy all the double disc extended editions. Who knows?
Yeah, you don't have to listen to them. It's like they're only about 10 to 12 albums, songs each.
I was about to say I have about 8 hours of music here.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
Wonderful.
Oh gosh. All right.
I love that Max is listening to music now. It's great.
All right.
Do you have extra credit? Yeah.
Give us your extra
I
credit.
got
if you
extra
want,
credit.
Yeah.
and then we'll do the ranking.
All right.
You
Your
got my
extra
credit.
credit is going to be the album Sunset. I've been really torn. There are 2, but I think I'm going to recommend Sunset Diner by Kid Quill. And I think that's his better of the 2. But 94.3 The Real, as in reeling in the years reel, is also pretty formative in my...
What album is this called again?
Sunset Diner?
Sunset Diner by Kid Quill.
Got it. I found it.
And his other album, 94.3 The Real, if you feel like listening to 2 of them. I think Sunset Diner's his better one, but I love both a lot. So.
Okay, I'll give it a shot.
And
Add
here
it
I
to
was
the-
hoping
add it to
you're
the
going to say
library.
Hamilton, so I can make Logan listen to Hamilton.
Hamilton.
No.
Extra credit is entirely optional. I can't force Logan to listen to it.
Not in July.
I think it's only fair that we listen to one album if you have to listen.
I was
to
gonna say, yeah.
five.
I would like to do that.
Yeah.
All right, we'll
I'll-
have to start trimming this down in the future because we're going way too long. Within reason, I don't want us to rush
Yeah.
through it, but I know that this is getting lengthy.
Maybe less than, I don't know. We'll see. We'll talk about it.
All right, last thing. This is not going to be a normal thing, but let's just do it since you've got it apparently done. Rankings of all of everything we've recommended in the past already. Let's hear it. We've probably
so
up
the
to
one
like, what,
thing-
10 albums total or 10?
12
artists?
albums total.
Holy shit.
So I have the artist ranked. I don't have the albums.
That's fine.
split
That's
yet.
fine.
That's fine.
That's fine.
Yeah.
Number 12 is T-Rex.
Yes.
11, Tyler, the Creator. 10, Tenacious D.
Oh, my heart.
Oh, he gave you some duds last time.
9 is Coheed and Cambria. Gorillas would be, I guess, well, this count is off because I have people in here twice. Gorillas, Tame Impala, Killers. Number 3 is Stevie Ray Vaughan, or number 2 is Stevie Ray Vaughan. I have Jeff Buckley up there twice. He's first.
Okay.
Because I was splitting it by album.
Yeah,
too,
yeah.
So 2 Jeff
yeah,
Buckley
yeah.
albums at the top.
Fucking A,
But
Jeff.
that's the artist order. I'll refine this by album, and then we'll can be reestablished later. But
Jeff Buckley keeps on winning.
oh yeah, it's not
Beautiful.
even a contest. I put on Texas Flood the other day too. Like those are the albums that I have kept listening to. I haven't listened to anything else. Like again, the only ones are Jeff Buckley and Stevie Ray Vaughan.
I gotta say, final thing I'll say here, and then we'll go. You would think now that we've been doing this a couple months, we'd start to get a better handle on Max's taste, and I gotta be honest,
No.
I'm not really getting a good grasp because this man's like, oh, Tyler the Creator, it reminds me of the rappers I like, but I don't like it, and it's like, oh, well, darn, that's why I recommended it because I do you like these other people. Cool, that's it. We'll be back next month with the show that no one cares about other than us, and I say that, but
I love this show. This
I'm not
show's
joking.
great.
I was gonna say we didn't even have to publish this as a podcast or a video for people to consume. I just like this for us.
Yeah,
And,
this is
releasing
fun.
it publicly just gives us a reason to force Max to keep doing this. So I
True.
like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like one of the most fun.
As long as
podcasts I
Max
think
likes
we've-
it, I don't want him
I've
to
done.
feel like
Yeah,
he's
why
getting
not?
roped into doing this like against his will. But
No, I have fun doing it.
I just think it's
Just here to
important.
kill it later.
Yeah, I think it's just important to
Exactly.
know that like we're not like bashing anybody's music taste or anything like that.
No.
I think that's like the fun
Oh,
part
I am.
about it.
I don't know.
well-
T-Rex does kind of suck.
T-Rex is great.
Max got some
Great.
words for Tyler the Creator. That's all I'll say.
Yeah.
I was gonna say I do like that we both recommended Tyler and Coheed, and those are next to each other at the bottom. It's like, oh man, rough,
At least Tenacious D beats them both.
man.
No,
sadly.
no.
See, but
Coheed
Tenacious
beats
D I
Tenacious
recommend
D.
because Max is like, I like Weird Al. I go to Weird Al concerts with my wife.
Yeah, but what?
Good old weird.
Yeah, but I don't think, does Weird Al have songs about his dick? Like, I don't know.
Probably.
Probably.
I'll just have to think for a second. All right.
Oh,
we'll
he
be
does.
We'll be back next month with Max's thoughts on everything we just recommended, and then do the whole thing over again. So, all right, everybody. Till then, bye bye.
Bye.
Adios.
Weenie in the Bottle was one of the songs. Now that I remembered.
I forgot about that.
Another
Yeah.
one rides the bus.